And we are live. What's going on, honey?
Not too much, child. Glad it's Sunday.
Having fun this week?
It's been work as usual, but I'm going to dinner with my boo tonight, so I'm happy about that because I don't have to cook
Oh,
Sunday dinner. So I had taken
definitely
food
nothing
out
wrong.
and everything, and he texted me and said, "Let's go to Longhorn." I'm like, "Okay, cool. You don't got to tell me twice."
I know that's right. I was getting my hair braided.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so that's what's got me running late, honey.
It's
So
all
I'm like,
good.
oh shit. Oh shit, oh shit.
It's all good, child. Go ahead and get beautified.
Oh no.
About this topic. This should be a very interesting show.
Mm.
We basically kind of seen some murmurings um, that kind of may relate closely to the topic. But I'm excited about this show. I think it's going to be
Okay.
real interesting.
Okay. So do you want to get off into it?
Let's do this.
Okay, do you want to get us started?
Well, first off, hey to the chat. I see people in the chat speaking. So, hey, y'all. Thanks for joining us. I think this is going to be a very interesting topic that you guys will enjoy. Um, well, as far as the topic goes, I was talking to Danielle. It was feel like maybe about a week ago when this topic came up, and this was actually her idea. So, this is a very interesting topic. It touches on a lot of the conversations that we've had here in the manosphere, or the conversations that we've seen being had in the manosphere, and or panels that we've partaken in. And it relates to what's the actual topic? I'm sorry, I can't pull up, I can't pull up the thing on my phone.
Okay, the topic is the lack of BDE.
The lack your problem is the lack of BDE, right?
Right.
So the lack of BDE, and what that refers to, it's probably got you all wondering, is big dick energy.
Oh God.
So the topic is your problem is your lack of big dick energy. So we are going to go ahead and get off into this. What do you want to say about the topic before we divulge to go too far into it, Danny?
To clarify what big dick energy is, it's a quiet confidence that you don't have to overly display, but people know not to fuck with it. When they know you coming, in my opinion. And women
Yes.
respect it. It allows a woman to be in her feminine. It allows a man to be in his masculine, because women can also possess big dick energy, in my opinion.
Oh, interesting. So we not gonna let that slide. We definitely gonna have to get some clarity on that one. But I do want to say this. One of the primary points that I want to speak about is the fact that we commonly hear in the manosphere space that Black women are attracted to, like, the ratchet dudes, the Pookies, and the Ray Rays. And I want to ensure that we kind of make sure to address that, because what a lot of men fail to realize is that Black women aren't necessarily attracted to Pookie and Ray Ray. Yeah, there are some segments. However, one of the driving forces is that BDE that they possess. Whether it be false bravado, but whether it could be authentic, it may be false, and she doesn't truly know how to identify what it is. But a lot of them do possess, or do present themselves as though they possess BDE. So, it's not necessarily the fact that they're attracted to, like, a no good low life. They're attracted to something that he possesses. And if you guys saw the actual thumbnail, and we kind of highlighted Drake, like when he was on Degrassi and he was, a bit lame, he was small in stature, and then, the Drake of today. That's just kind of showcasing an example of, he clearly had a dose of B.D.E. and, he's kind of changed a few things, and it's apparent in his physical presence or in his physical makeup, excuse me.
Yes. So what Drake had represented when he played on Degrassi, would you have given him a sense of B.D.E. when he played on Degrassi?
No.
Or his character?
Not at all. I think his character was, scrawny and, just, I'm trying, for lack of a better term, lame. He was, kind of someone that a lot of women would have passed over. A lot of Black women would have passed him over, just kept right on walking, wouldn't have even looked his way. So, in my opinion, and I didn't watch the show religiously. I've seen a couple episodes. He did not possess B.D.E. in his character on Degrassi, and I don't know if he personally even possessed it at that stage. I feel like he's leveled up quite a bit since he's become, since he's garnered the fame that he has.
So what would you say gives Drake B.D.E. right now? Like what about Drake has him having, like, because we see Drake as a different dude than we used to, right?
And this is judging by, from what I can see. Of course, I've never met him, don't have any personal experiences, but there are some there's a very stark contrast to what you saw on Degrassi to what you see today. And it looks like he went through a whole phase of self-improvement. He's got his man weight on him. He is, his grooming is all together. He carries himself as, a confident, cocky, beyond confident. So cocky male who, is extremely sure of himself and not afraid to speak out and speak up. And, that's attractive to women. I think that, to be completely honest, B.D.E., and some people may use a different term to describe it, but that's a necessary trait for a leader. So me personally, when I think of the type of men that I'm interested in, like, I want a man that has the ability to lead. And one of the surest ways to showcase that, especially before I'm really able to get to know you, is the level of confidence and how self-assured you are. What do you think about Drake's B.D.E. or him coming into B.D.E., so to speak?
I actually think Drake possessed a certain amount of it early on in his career. So I remember when Drake actually had mixtapes out. So that tells you kind of how far I go back with him before he actually became big. So I remember, I think the song was Successful. And I remember when Successful was just like a mixtape song before it actually went commercial. And listening to Drake back then, I kind of always felt that he possessed a certain amount of B.D.E. from back then. But when, I guess, as a guy gets more money, do you think, well, I kind of feel like money influences a certain amount of B.D.E. as well.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Absolutely. Okay. A man is going to definitely be more confident in himself the more money that he has, more self-assured. He's going to have higher standards. He's going to know his worth, so to speak. So money and power definitely influence, the amount of B.D.E. that a person possesses. But you could be a broke fool and still have B.D.E. as well.
A what?
A broke fool. Can you hear me? I'm in my laundry. I'm in my laundry room, so I do apologize. I'm about to get out of here, but I said a broke fool.
Okay, I thought you said a blow. I was like, girl, we're not doing the London thing. Okay.
Wait, what?
Blow.
Oh, God.
I thought you said a blow. Come on.
Now,
Okay.
do you want to elaborate? Do you want to elaborate on? You said that you believe that women can possess BDE. Now, do you want to elaborate on that point?
Yeah, because there are certain women who are very powerful, um, and or like a Claire Huxtable type, right? So to me, Claire Huxtable did embody like very feminine traits, but it was also a seriousness there, like a coldness there. Like if you stepped out of line, I don't think Claire would have necessarily been afraid to check you in a certain way. And it's not the check that you have to get loud and belligerent with a person, but like a quiet check, like, look, goddamn it. All right. You know how the mama can give you the look and you
Yeah,
get somewhere and sit down type of thing.
yeah.
That's kind
That
of what I give to Claire Huxtable.
that's a good point, but I don't know. Like from what I, from my vision of what Claire Huxtable is, it's hard for me to attach that to her because I feel like she was still very womanly, and I guess when I think of BDE, it makes me think of masculine energy. Like I don't
Gotcha.
recall seeing her kind of lose her femininity in any episode that was shown. I mean, I do believe though that there are women who try to mimic and or do embody BDE, but I'm just trying to think of an example of somebody that I can ask you if you
So
think
you would
they.
think, so basically, okay, because to me, it doesn't necessarily have to, and I understand what you're saying about
Mhm.
the female aspect of it, but I feel like it's an energy that can encompass all in a certain sense, because I don't necessarily think it has to be, I think the name makes it
Mm,
masculine,
yeah,
but
that's probably.
the energy
It's
to me is
hard
the
to
same. Yeah.
imagine anything else because of probably the acronym that is attached to it. I mean, the name that's attached to the acronym. But and I think that women can absolutely be, confident and self-assured and powerful and strong and all of those things. And I'm certain that those women, especially in a work environment, would be looked at as having BDE. You know what I mean? Like if you think about it, an executive and her calling the shots, especially a lot of times when she's having to run like a male team or male dominant team, and like so she may have to exert a certain level of BDE in order to ensure that the jobs get done. So I can picture what you're saying. It's just, I guess for me, hard for me to see where femininity fits in that same space along with it.
Do you remember? Well, do you remember when she checked Elvin? So, fitness mom, I want to say brought that up. Um,
Vaguely.
okay. I think Elvin had asked her, like, she was getting ready to fix Dr. Huxtable some tea or something, and she asked him, um, could she get him some? And he was like, oh, you're gonna serve your husband. And she kind of was like, well, oh yeah, because he serves me. And it's a give and take situation. But she kind of did go off on him a little bit. And so
Mm.
some people would actually call that being masculine. And I wouldn't necessarily say that. I kind of feel like she
Well,
went off in a feminine way, but the energy
right.
was very big dick energy to
I
me.
got you. I got you. And I mean, yeah, I can understand it because I know for me personally, like I'm extremely protective of those that I love. Like, let me tell you something. Like, my man is not a small dude at all. And like, I would, first of all, okay, so recently we had insurance person that came over and she made it here before I got off of work and he was home and it was for some sort of insurance. But anyway, so he started talking to her and she was like questioning him like, well, don't you want to wait for your fiance? Like, and he's like, no, I'm going to take the lead on this. And she's like, well, that's kind of disrespectful and this, that, and the other. And, was like making little smart jabs about, him not waiting for me and things of that nature. And he's texting me and I'm like getting livid. Like, how dare you question the hierarchy in our home and how we do business. And I wanted to come in and go off on her. You know what I mean? Because I felt like that was disrespectful to him, as the head of our home to be questioning the way in which we do business. So anytime though that something goes on with him, like he doesn't need me to defend him, but I still feel like I get kind of assertive and very protective, despite the fact that he doesn't need my protection. So I mean, I don't know if that would be a
B.D.E situation.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about like Claire and like her position and how she how basically her and Bill Cosby ran their home, like how like when that's questioned, a lot of women take offense to that and they become defensive. And is that just a natural woman's reaction to someone questioning the way things are run in their home, or is that BDE?
Like I said, I think their energy can encompass both male and female, but we can definitely stick to the male point of view, because when we came up with the topic, when we were talking about it, one of the questions were, are men going to other cultures because they lack a certain amount of BDE?
Yeah. So in reference to that, okay, so in that question, does that question indicate that women of other cultures don't require or aren't looking for BDE in a man? Like, just to make sure that I understand.
I honestly think that women of other cultures look at a man as a man because he is a man, and men aren't the same as women. So I kind of feel like women of other cultures are saying, okay, this is the person that's going to do all the infrastructure. They're going to build the buildings. They're going to do the heavier things in society that women don't generally do. And so we're going to respect him because he is a man, and being that he is a man, that me as a woman, I'm not going to do certain things, right? I'm not about to get out and pave anybody's roads. I'm not going to collect anybody's trash. And my privileges as a woman allow me to be able to sit a certain way because I am a woman. And so I think that with them, they kind of look at it as like, okay, being that I'm not going to do what a man does, I'm going to respect all men, because at the end of the day, when it's time to go fight the wars, when it's time to do certain things in our society, women aren't just, we're just not going to do those things, or we're not going to do them en masse. And so I think women of other cultures have a bit more respect with how they deal with men as men. They don't just say, well, the man has to earn my respect because I cook for him, I can provide him children, or whatever else that they feel that women should provide. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay, but I don't understand. So do you think that they don't require BDE? I
think that they give the man an automatic sense of BDE because he is a man, as opposed to our society and our culture. With our culture, we feel like the man needs to earn some respect from us.
Well,
we're not as giving of the respect and of our feminine. Our femininity is sometimes a thing that has to be earned within our culture, in my opinion, versus other women are saying, okay, I'm a woman, I'm going to cook, clean. I'm going to do the things that a woman does, just because you're a man, not because what I'm looking for you to give something to me.
So for me, I don't think that a woman can give a man BDE, or can I think that BDE has to be something that they possess themselves. So I mean, I think that just tell me if I'm wrong. So what you're saying, that women of other cultures will basically treat and nurture a man as if he has BDE because he's a man?
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
And so within our society, I kind of feel like with us, the man has to have more so of a certain type of energy before we're attracted to it.
Mm. Well, okay. Well, I want to come right back to that, but I saw a comment in the chat, and someone was saying that he walked into a room years ago, and the woman said she knew he had a big penis. I want to just clear something up really quick. It's not really necessarily about penis size. You know what I mean? It's not. It doesn't. That does not denote what it is. We kind of. I mean, we've been talking about what it is. I mean, that can be an element, but it does not have to be. So it's not just based on that. You know what I mean? Like that could be one element of it. You can be small, but you're, in a powerful position. You have a lot of money. You're attractive. You're, intelligent and just confident in who you are as a man, despite the fact that,
Oh my
you're
God,
not
Janelle.
well endowed.
Janelle said so. I'm about to put you out.
Well, I mean, I'm just
I'm
saying,
blushing.
like, that isn't the only that it doesn't. That's not a requirement. You can still have it without
having it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, yeah, without having it. This is one of those like uncomfortable conversations, but
Right.
yes, you can have it without having it. I don't think that that's necessarily a requirement. You know what I mean? So you can. Now, I will say this, and I want to know your thoughts. One thing that comes to mind is that a lot of the guys who do not possess they don't possess power, and they don't necessarily have like a lot of money and things of that nature, but they know how to put it down in the bedroom, so that's where their confidence comes from. And or they may be well endowed, so that's where their confidence comes from.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's a good source?
Wait, I don't understand the question.
Do you think that that's a good source of energy? Being that a man knows that he can put it down, do you think that that's a good source of energy for him to have a certain type of confidence? Because a lot of guys I notice, never mind. I'm gonna leave that.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, I think that I think that it's subjective regarding, whether a woman thinks that that's a good source. Like me personally, that's just not enough. I mean, you can be all cocky and confident because of that, but yeah, okay, well, what else are you bringing to the table? Because when it's all said and done and we have fun, okay, well, so what else? What else is there? I'm looking for what else you have. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's like awesome, especially for maybe young girls who aren't looking to build and who but like as a grown woman, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's nice, but okay, so what else? Like, that's all fine and dandy and well, and that's an awesome thing, but what else do you have? Like, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop at that point. So I know it's subjective, and I know that there are some women who are grown and adult women who are very successful in their own right, and if you are confident because of that, they're cool with that being all that you have to give, because they may not want you for anything else.
That's true.
So, I mean,
stop laughing. Because he's like, I got this. You know what I'm working with, girl.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, and I think like when I think of that, I know that this is not just I know that this is not just younger guys, but like that's something that like a young fool would be, basing his B.D.E off of, just because he can do that. I mean, a grown man, you gotta know that there has to be more to you than that. You know what I mean? And I can see like young girls getting impressed by that. But I'm certain that there are grown women who are just as silly and just as immature and just as easy to impress. But, grown men, I mean, I'm going to expect you to have something more than that.
He's saying that that's all he needs, because do you think that... Okay, so I think our women look for it more. Do you think a lot of other cultures... I don't think that other cultures require it as more. I think we require it more. And
yeah.
yeah,
I think that I do agree with that. And I asked you the question, but I didn't answer it. Now, I do think that women of other cultures look for other things in men. I do think that there's a certain level of B.D.E that they really want, because I don't, like, most women want a man that's a leader. And women of other cultures, no matter what culture you're in, if you're an executive, if you're a prime minister, if you're a diplomat, anything that's considered powerful, you're going to garner more attention from women than you would if you're just a lowly peasant or whatever. So I do think that to a certain degree, all women want a man that has that, but I don't think that it's a requirement and or as high of a standard for women of other cultures.
So do you think, how can I put this question? Okay, because a lot of other women don't require it, so to speak, do you think that because I kind of feel like it's a desire. And if they came into a man who had it more so, do you think the woman would be unfaithful to that energy?
Okay, that's an interesting question. And I want to say this and I'll answer. I think that what we're talking about, we may be calling it something else, but it's not a foreign concept in this space. I've heard men on different panels talk about cuckolding and things of that nature. They know that if you're a simp or if you're extremely weak and you lack confidence and you're not self-assured, that your woman is likely going to be laying up with somebody else who does have B.D.E. So I don't think that this is like a foreign concept. I do think that, I do think that most experience find themselves lacking something in the relationship, and it is a high possibility that they may look elsewhere for, that one thing that's missing, which would be, the B.D.E. Like, when I think of what it is and what it means to me and how I would define it and how, my love embodies it, I think of, like, even just something as simple as his ability to protect me. Like, I don't want to have to question, your capabilities. I don't, his, the security that he provides, like, knowing that, I mean, he displays it in just like the simplest ways, but they are things that I actually am accustomed to and I appreciate and that I need in my partner. So, for me, I wouldn't even choose a man who is lacking in that area, because it is something that I that I need, and it's a pretty high standard for me.
Okay. Um, so being that other races of women don't require it like our race of women do,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that that gives other women an advantage? Because you do have a lot of men saying, you know what, being that Black women are looking for all this swag and all this energy and shit, other races of women aren't requiring that. So we'd rather deal with the women who don't require that as opposed to dealing with women who are looking for that.
Well, I'm going to answer that, but I also want to clear something up. Like, it's not just swag. So I want people in the chat just to know that B.D.E, like, you guys are like, don't seem to be getting a clear picture of what it is. Jeff Bezos would have B.D.E. In order to be able to command a boardroom full of, intelligent, strong people, you have to have it. It may not be displayed in the way that Black men display it, but he would still have it. So, in order to be like those high, like the top 1%, men in the top 1%, it's not 9 times out of 10 they're going to have it. Men that are executives, men that are in positions of power, like, they're going to have it. The way in which they display it may not be, it's not going to look like Tyrone on the corner, but they still possess it. So,
So do you think, yeah, because I do feel like Tyrone on the as well as the top 1% of men. I do think to me, some of the energy is the same, and it's quite
yes,
tribal.
Trump
In my
does have
opinion.
it, but for me, to be completely honest, I'm just going to be frank about this. it looks different in a white man than it does in a black man. So I want to first say that. So you could look, y'all, like you could be trying finding like the corniest of white men and naming them off and things of that nature, and just be like they're we're looking at it like that's a corny white dude. However, he still possesses it, and despite the fact that he may be okay. So what's the guy's name who donated to Morehouse and paid off like all the student loans? Like
Robert Smith.
Robert Smith. Yes, to attain that type of wealth, you have B.D.E. Like it's almost, so B.D.E. is almost a requirement once you get to a certain level. Just like most powerful officials and most people in the top 1% have some level of Machiavellian principle that they subscribe to, because most people, you're not going to get to that level without stepping on someone else's neck. So like, it's the same thing with B.D.E. Like they're going to have a level of B.D.E. It just may not be as overt, and it may not look like what we're, it may not look like what it looks like in the hood.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm getting ready to drop the link.
Yeah, let's go ahead and open it up.
Oh Lord, child. Let's see what the men have to say and what the women have to say, child. There's the link. So, do you think men understand when they don't possess a lot of it? When they don't have a lot of that energy?
I do think that they realize that they don't have a lot of the energy, but I think that a lot of them are in denial. So they may try to point the finger at women and say that it's because of, women aren't attracted to the right things and they just want, one type of guy. And I think that, they don't want to necessarily be open about the fact that they realize that they are lacking in that area. So, they just kind of point the finger at women.
Okay. Well, today we have Tedros and Obsidian. Tedros was here first. Tedros, what do you think about the topic? What do you have?
Hey, y'all.